Your Honor, members of the jury, I object to Cheap Audio Man's constant harassment and belittlement of my client, the KEF LS50 Meta. Hi, I'm Bob, and you, my friends, are not only back in the United States of analog, but you are in the court of critical opinion on the KEF LS50 Meta. I am demanding equal time with the Cheap Audio Man to discuss the merits of the KEF LS50 Meta. I have reached out to Randy and asked him if I could appear on his channel. He has declined, though he has offered to put a link on his site. But Cam, week after week, video after video, has taken this little powerhouse bookshelf speaker from KEF to task, all in the effort to get more viewers and subs and clicks and views and things. But I am coming to the defense of the KEF LS50 Meta because no one else will. Your Honor, I have the evidence before me and I would like to put my client on the stand. Members of the jury, I know you have before you the same document that I'm holding. Past reviews, excellent speaker, class leader, 2022 product of the year. What hi-fi. LS50 Meta gave a palpable reach out and touch soundstage, and that's a quote. Highly recommended. Stereophile. I was totally floored by the sound. A 10. Steve Gutenberg takes a class-leading success and makes it better. A winner. The absolute sound. One of today's audio bargains. We give it the Applause Award. StereoNet. Members of the jury, I can do this all day. I have pages and pages of positive reviews from esteemed organizations on the internet and on YouTube. But enough of these reviews, Your Honor. Let's get to more facts. Oh, in full disclosure, Randy's actually a friend of mine. We've hung out, we've socialized. He's appeared on my radio shows. I've appeared on his channel. So there is no animosity here. This is strictly professional, but I feel like someone must come to the defense of this fine speaker. Now first, let's talk about the build quality. This is a maybe a $1,600 speaker now at retail, but look at this finish. Look at the construction. This is a work of art. Now, when I'm assessing quality, I always like to look at the rear end. So let's look at the back of the KEF and the back of Randy's beloved Sony SS-CS5 three-way speakers. Look at these smooth, rounded, finished edges with tight tolerances. This beautiful oval port and these extra heavy-duty speaker terminals. By contrast, Randy's beloved Sonys have this generic round port, probably with a toilet paper tube inside. Kind of average terminals and this glued on, probably with a glue stick, vinyl wrap. I mean, this is like vinyl. It doesn't even have any grain. Your Honor, there is no comparison. You know what? In this country, quality still stands for something. And sometimes you have to pay for it. I know there's a big price delta here, but I stand by my testimony. If it pleases the court, I'd like to continue. All right, let's talk appearances now. Now on Randy's award-winning YouTube channel, his LS50 Metas are in blue, neutral, cold, maybe even frigid blue with no personality. Does the sky have personality? No, I don't think so. And it's no wonder he's not getting any feels from those speakers. Now, by contrast, look at my personal LS50 Metas in this beautiful, warm, heather gray. Kind of like a warm pair of flannel pajamas encapsulating this beautiful red Aloha Hawaiian sunset. I mean, this gives off the vibes of warmth and soul. His blue metas just can't pull that off. Members of the jury, I behoove you to enter in my evidence into testimony, or testimony into evidence. Well, do what you want to do. Your Honor, I want to take this speaker up to my listening room for further auditioning. I am going to compare it to several bookshelf models that may not be comparative in price category, but are comparative in size. The HECO AURORA 300s, which I love. The Klipsch RP600M Generation 1, and the Sony CSS, CS5, CSS. The ones that Randy likes. And Your Honor, I suggest you take a recess now, and then I will come down and give you my assessment and choose a winner. All right, Your Honor, I'm back. For my test, I wanted to keep it simple for the jury. In fact, you might want to check juror number 3, I think is asleep. But anyway, I used one track, one source, one DAC, one amp into 4 different pairs of bookshelf speakers. The track, Dire Straits, You and Your Friend, one of my favorite test tracks, full of dynamics, full of rich guitar. I think there's a National guitar in there, great bass. Great detail. I played it off the Blue Sound node, the Generation 3 node, into the Shelly Labs J2 AKM DAC, into the Technics SUG 700 amplifier, one of my favorites. I feel like I put together a pretty good system for the test. Now let me grab my notes and I'll go through my results. Again, I'm going to keep things in layman's terms for the jury out there. The KEF LS50 metas. Pretty good mids, decent depth behind the soundstage there. Vocals recessed. The bass was there, but not super strong or super well defined. You could really hear that vibration of, I think it's a National guitar in there, a dobro or a National guitar. You can really get the kind of the grittiness of the strings and the resonance of the strings on that. And overall, a pretty rich experience. Coming up next, the Sony SSCS5s, Randy's favorites. I don't know if they're his favorites, but he talks a lot about them, and he's sold a lot of them. They've got more airiness and separation than the KEF, for sure. I didn't enjoy the mid-range as much. I didn't enjoy the vocals and the bass as much on the Sony. They're not as prominent, not as deep or as rich, and the sound in general wasn't as rich. But they were very open, very airy, good separation, good instrument placement within that soundstage. Klipsch 600, incredible mid-range speakers. The impact, the clarity was there, a wide soundstage, and they sounded like I had the sub on to some degree. And by the way, I didn't use a sub for these tests, Your Honor. Yeah, they didn't have the super high-end clarity of the Sonys, which is kind of surprising because you would figure Klipsch with the horns would have that, but I think the Sony edged it out, and that's probably that Sony Super Tweeter that provided that clarity. The HECO AURORA 300s, nice bass, beautiful mid-range. It's kind of a mid-range, laid-back, mid-range centric speaker. The guitar sound was extremely full, which I like on a Dire Straits record. Recessed vocals, they were kind of in the background behind that soundstage, the depth, I guess it's called, and super rich dynamics. Now, I've used a lot of reviewer terms, and I hope I haven't confused the members of the jury. But I have to emphasize, though, that the KEFs are many price multiples of some of these speakers. The Sony's somewhere between maybe $129 and $200. The Klipsch 600, the new generation anyway, is going to set you back about $600. And then the HECO AURORA 300s, they're usually around $400, but they're not even available. I could sell a ton of those if they were, but they're not. So let me run them down. Let me run down the awards for you in this closed door listening test. Wow, it pains me to say it, and I'm sorry. And I want to apologize to my client, the LS50 Meta. Probably the most mid experience that I had upstairs today. Does a lot of things okay. It doesn't do one thing really super great. And it pains me to say that. I was hoping it was going to go the other direction, but it didn't. The Sony, best detail in the class, as to be expected. So kudos to Randy, constantly pointing out the value with the Sony SSCS5s. Best detail, best airiness of the group. The RP 600Ms, first gen, the most dynamic of the bunch. You know, I hadn't had those plugged in a while, and I really, really thoroughly enjoyed them. And I've got to put them back in the service because I forgot how good they can be, and with the electronics I was using in this test, they really stood out to me. The best dynamics, the best punch in the group. And then the HECO AURORA 300. I don't know what it is about these $400 speakers, but they speak to me every time I listen to them, and I wish Amazon had them on sale for you, and you could click on the affiliate links, and I could make $1.50. The AURORA 300s were the most pleasant and most listenable of all four pairs of speakers. I can listen to those for days, and I can't say that about the KEF. I can listen to the Klipsch for maybe days, and I think the Sony SSCS5s with this particular system that I was using might irritate me after a while. Maybe a little too much airiness and detail, but man, those Auroras, there's something about them, and they are kind of mid-range centric, you know, but maybe that's what I like. I'm finding out that's what I like. It's a long-term listening experience. So I didn't think that this particular video was going to turn out as any kind of advertisement for anything else other than the KEFs. Again, apologies to my client. The KEFs was the most mid of that experience. And I'm probably, if it pleases the court, going to offer them up for sale on the internet. Though Randy has crashed the market. He's crashed the market with his reviews, but the man knows what he's talking about. And you know, as beautiful as they are, as well designed, as heavy, and all the technology that's in there, and maybe with a sub they'd punch a little harder, but oh man, I think I've got to let them go. I've got too many great contenders to play with upstairs. So that's it. That's the trial by fire for the KEF LS50 Metas. I wished it had turned out different, but the Cheap Audio Man knows his stuff, and that's all I can say. I hope you enjoyed this fun video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. I'm going to do more stuff. I can't help myself. I'm going to do more stuff down the road, and I've got some cool stuff to show you and talk about. So please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time in the People's Court, or the United States of Analog, as it were. All right, get that off to Randy straight away. He said he would link it. Remind him that he told me that he would. He came out smelling like a rose this time, but we'll get him next time. This is turning into like a Bobby Flay throwdown.